Chris's bond.
Oh, okay.
No. I did get your info, but I know, I checked you, I checked to see if you were too, otherwise I would have sent it to you. Yeah.
Fire department driveway. Before the front here. Yes.
Tax affordable, they give you those, like, some tax. Oh, are you sure? I'm sure. That's not gonna hold that out.
High schoolers or?
Well, no, they're right. Yeah, I just like losing my mind today. Cause they were all excited today, so I'm trying to find stuff really decent. Fix it?
It's up. It's not quite as pretty as it was last month. They don't have the headlines and stuff.
Hello. How are you? Oh, trip.
Oh, it is not Richard. You probably need a few more papers in front of you.
They go to Bob. Oh yeah, that's me.
That
Never
goes-
mind. They both go to me.
Oh, really?
Yours. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was treating you like you were doing it. I wasn't even looking at it.
Okay, I'm expecting a tax
Similar.
form. That's just Yes, that's what I thought I was giving you too. And I was like, well, maybe they go to Bob if they didn't go to
Like,
Katie.
just,
Nope, these are both mine.
wow.
Yay!
This is a
New
good
voter.
start.
Yeah, absentee. Yes.
Unchallenged?
Unchallenged. Previously removed, added by Monica. Further discussion.
I got this already.
I talked to Matt. Matt and I are friends now. Bishaw.
Matt Trump.
No, Bishaw.
Oh.
We're friends now.
So we got the situation fixed at the.
He's
That was quite a garden there.
he's gonna rein it in.
Good.
That's why I asked him, can you just please rein it in? There is some confusion over where Judy's actually buried though. Ron thinks that they put the headstone in the wrong spot.
Oh boy.
So
I just saw in the news some township is doing the sonar. They're doing. It's local. They were doing something and they were mapping out the whole cemetery and they were doing sonar and
I
trying to
didn't
get
see
like.
that.
Have we got an estimate for it?
So
I'm sure it's not cheap.
it's not. They wouldn't give an estimate without us paying them to come out and do an estimate. So their best guess, we gave them the size of Antrim City to start with,
Yeah.
and their best guess was $10,000. Without coming out here, without us paying them money. And I was like,
Right.
yeah, that's
Okay,
just not, I'm not even,
That's 40,000. Tina, do you remember like talking about sonar at the cemeteries? Yeah, very costly.
At one point, the daughters of the, do you remember the soldier?
No, I mean the commission for
The group came out to.
Oh yeah, the Daughters of the Revolution. Yeah.
They said that they had sonar, that they would let us, that they would bring out and do for us for free.
Maybe it's next month.
But then that just went away.
Wow.
well, Donna had told me that someone did it, but then rather than giving her the records for what they did, they took them with them.
It was for their own information.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That sounds like, because there's a story that there might be a cemetery under one of the roads here.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and there probably is. There's probably cemeteries.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Meeting order, 6:01. Let's start with pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord and Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us here safe again tonight to do the work of Banks Township. As always, we ask for your wisdom and guidance as we evaluate the matters before us. May we do your will and the will of the people here in this wonderful community. Lord, thank you again for all that you do for us and this community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Start out with an approval of the agenda.
I'm gonna add a couple things if I could.
Sure.
The bill for one of our utility bills, our DTE.
Okay.
Also, padded chairs for the public and maybe some light filters here.
Okay.
And
DTE. Let me write this down.
yeah, DTE Energy, that can just go with the bills. That would be an easy
Oh, okay.
place for it. And then agenda item, padded chairs, lights, that would be just something that, permission to go get a bid. And then I feel like we really need to have an honest conversation about board attendance at PC meetings and conflict of interest.
Sounds good. Alright, so that's your amendment to the agenda. I'll support it. Any further discussion? Any other amendments? Let's do that one first. Any discussion? And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Alright, any other amendments to the agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion.
Julie moves,
I support.
Katie supports. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Okay. Carries. All right, open it up for public comment. 3 minutes. Hello.
My name is Lucy Eccles, I'm from Antrim County Parks, I'm
Yeah.
the director. I just came to talk about the Antrim City Schoolhouse that's at, Antrim Creek Natural Area. We're working on getting that restored so we can make it a public meeting space and recreational, welcoming space for the community as part of ACNA. We did get a $50,000 grant from America 250 MI. And that was in conjunction, we had help from the Banks Township Historical Society. So they're involved in it as well, and I just wanted to let you guys know we're still collecting donations. I have information, wrap cards here that I can leave with you guys if you want to put them out for the public. And I will be putting in another grant to like 2% grant from the Indian tribe and a few other things, still trying to get some revenue together to get the project completed. So I just wanted to keep you up to date on that since it's in your township. And
Great.
Does anybody have any questions about it?
What's your projected total cost?
For the entire thing is about 250,000, and that was a 2024 estimate. So we've kind of split it into two phases, like the exterior being the roof, the structure, and the foundation repairs that need to be done. And that's kind of what I'm trying to gather money for right now, because that'll save the structure itself. And then the interior would be phase two, which would be like the flooring and the windows and the inside walls and creating like displays and stuff like that. So.
Tell them about the bids.
Oh yeah, the bid is, we have an RFP open for phase one. That is, it's due, we're gonna have to extend it. It's been out, but we haven't had much interest, so it's due this week. And I haven't gotten anything from anybody, unfortunately. So I'll probably end up extending it, but it is out there. If anybody knows of anybody that might be interested in bidding on it, or has any questions, or just have them reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to go over things with them and meet them out there and talk about it. All right,
Wonderful.
I'll leave those with you.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, then we'll move on, we'll close public comment and move on to approval of the minutes.
You have a change.
Yeah, modified the number 15 a little bit. Basically change it to just creating a lakeshore zone for water residential communities along our lakefronts, including but not limited to Ellsworth Lake, St. Clair, Wilson, Lake Michigan, and Little Torch. That caused a little confusion for the planning commission, so adjust that a little bit. That's the only one
Anyone else?
that I know of right now.
Item 9A, first, that'll be the second line, motion by Katie to accept. Support by Julie Chalice, motion carried, roll call, motion failed. So I think the motion carried is not
Incorrect.
incorrect.
Anything else? Now I take a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Mark moves. Support him. Any further discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Alright, Jairus, County Commission report.
Well, Lindsay already talked a little bit about the ACA schoolhouse, and yeah, I didn't know if Dave Rasmussen was gonna be here, but I was gonna put a plug in his ear again about if he knows any builders that would be interested in.
Yeah.
At least put a bid in. The first person that reached out, I guess, doesn't really sound like they're gonna submit it, so. The treatment of the hemlock trees out there is underway, and they have less confirmed positive trees than they thought they were gonna have, so that's good. They do have to treat a certain amount of trees around a positive tree because they fall on the branches and land on the next little hemlocks and infect them, so that's gonna be ongoing. I think I mentioned before, thousands of trees here, Torch Lake and Banks Township now, so.
Yeah.
Private and public land, so. I've spent quite a bit of time, with community mental health as they've, been closing the Bergman Center down, which I didn't feel was right for the folks that are served there and have the ability to sort like nuts and bolts and make a little bit of money. Folks that have a lot of challenges, some of them are nonverbal, and the state of Michigan passed a rate increase January 1 that said you have to pay your workers, I don't have the number written down, I think it was $18, $19 an hour or something like that. and community mental health never reimbursed them for that until April. So, you got a mandate from the state, so you got to pay your workers this, and the person that's supposed to reimburse you, which is CMH, never did. We had a special meeting. I got into it with the attorney a little bit there because he thought he was going to have a special meeting that was closed to the public and would not allow public comment. And I told him that that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act, and it's pretty obvious he wasn't real familiar with the Open Meetings Act, so I ended up having to read part of it. Oh, jeez. So that especially didn't look good because we had 5 or 6 public there who wanted to make public comment and had every right to. I said to someone, I said, if we didn't have to have public comment, why would we have it? Because people never have anything good to say about us, so. Anyway, they laughed about that too. And then, kind of along the same line, the sheriff met with mental health, and it sounds like there's a grant that he's been preliminarily approved for a deputy and a car and equipment for a deputy to be primarily devoted to cases and calls that they get regarding people that are just acting crazy because they have mental problems and they may not really need to be in jail, so trying to give them some help. And but if that comes through, that'll be over $100,000 because by the time you have to pay for your deputy and his car, all his equipment, his cameras and body cameras and all that, it's very expensive. But they've been doing some with the mental health group in Leland County, and they've had pretty good success there. So yeah, there'll be more to come on that probably end of June or July. We'll have more information on that. Okay. And also, I've had some conversations with the sheriff about the possibility of starting work release again. And the Antrim County Jail may quit doing it during COVID, and it's just never got going again. It just seems like they did a jail release simulation a couple years back, and people that are in there, they have a lot of challenges when they get out of jail. They don't have transportation, they don't have a job, they don't have housing, they don't have money, they have fines and court costs they have to pay. I mean, the list goes on, and I've seen it where if they at least have a connection with an employer and a job when they get out, that can be a huge first step. So, yeah, more to come on that. Any questions?
George, is the county putting any money into that schoolhouse project, or has it committed any? Or what do you think of it?
Yeah, so our Parks Department does not have extra money to contribute to that, and we have not put any in for that. The ACNA has a friends group, and they have helped with that, and that's private folks that care about the Antrim Creek natural area. And but yes, your question was county appropriation, no. And I think that's probably a good place to be. I mean, the people that are passionate about it are working on it, and we have a lot of parks in Antrim County, we just don't have enough money to put some to everyone. So how do you pick and choose?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of money to me to restore that little old building. I don't know. So, but I guess if there's enough interest that people
when the Antrim Creek natural area was started, there was an endowment. And so this phase 1, she got a $50,000 grant, and then the endowment committee approved $25,000. So they have $75,000 to do the roof and the walls and work on the foundation. So, and the cost estimate was pretty close to that. So, I mean, prices have gone up in the last couple of years. So, maybe we're up to 90 now, but if we don't get some bids, people don't even know. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thanks, Sheriff.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right, you got the sheriff's report in the packet, I think. So we're on to the bill paying portion of the evening.
come to bring up the DTE energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So previously it was paid with a credit card. And then they announced that they would charge us a fee for using the credit card, so we stopped paying with the credit card and we wrote them a check.
Mhm.
Well, the bill is due on the 15th every month. And the best they can do is the 20th. And so that's not really gonna help us, and they said if we are late, they're going to, shut us off?
Yeah.
So we would like permission to pay the utility bill to DTE Energy and then have it approved at the meeting. But we need to pay it between the meetings. So, yeah,
You good with
I mean,
that?
we don't have next month's yet, so we can't
I
pay
mean,
next
I'm fine
month's.
with that.
Yeah,
You-
it's a utility
You know.
bill, but we should,
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
okay.
Move that we do that.
We didn't hear you between that running and everything.
Yeah.
You guys are
It
split.
didn't get shut off this.
There we go. Is that better?
Can you hear us
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. I thought it would kick off, but it didn't want to do that. So sorry about that.
So when the bill comes in, I can write the check.
Yes,
And let you know.
yep, and then it'll be presented on the next one.
Okay.
So you'll know how much it is. Is there anything on the bills here? It looks like we pay election workers.
Yep, and there, I put in a request to Jordan Valley, Char M, and Ellsworth to split the cost. You guys have a copy of what I sent over to them to split the cost of the election wages.
The Jordan Valley EMS has to pay for part of the election,
Uh-huh,
Mhm.
and the schools always do. The other
Uh-huh.
school, so it's split between.
3 of them. It's like
Three of 'em.
600
Okay.
each.
Okay.
I did the election wages and stamps. What did I do? Postage, meals. There's a thing in your,
Okay. That'll be the bill in there.
yeah, that I sent out.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Oh, I see it now.
There's the last of the snow plowing from Dylan. And then he did the trees at the park, and he removed the stuff at the cemetery before I could get a hold of him. We played phone tag. So I know you guys wanted him to wait, but it's done.
And once they're out of the ground, there's no putting it back.
No. It looks nice though. If you drove by it, it does look nice.
That's a lot of snow plow in March, isn't it?
Yes. Then there's just the cleanup day stuff is on here. I didn't get a bill yet from Great Lakes, or not Great Lakes, GFL, so I can't tell you how much trash we had come in.
Okay.
Is there any questions?
The last one, Bachman Thaw,
Yeah.
half of the expenses are the Slasky case.
Yep.
Is there anything we should know about that? I mean, I haven't heard anything about how it's going or what's happening or.
It's kind of in its infancy right now, in high level view. Mr. Slasky wants to build a second residence on his parcel down on the lake, and zoning doesn't allow it, and he thinks that because it's two platted lots in the subdivision, he should be able to do that, but it's only one parcel. It's been combined for, I assume, tax purposes in the past, and,
He can't just split it?
The house,
The house is-
yeah, the house will not work, it's
It's-
actually over the lot line.
Yes, it is. It's on two parcels.
Yeah.
The house is built, not exactly in the middle, but it does, the house is on two parcels.
So then even if he did the second house like he wants, it's still gonna encroach in the setback on the other side,
Setback of
towards
his,
the neighbor's property.
the neighbor.
Yeah. And he has to go forward with it because he can't go back because of the house that's over the line.
That makes sense.
Somewhat.
Well,
Pretty
I
much.
disagree on,
Yeah.
some of the stuff,
Yeah.
but the facts of what's going on, that's. what
In the
he-
case-
So what is he trying to do? Sue the
He wa-
township?
yes.
He wants the judge to tell us that we have to allow him to make a second, put a second house on there because they're two separate lots. And that would line up with zoning, because it'd be separate lots. Even though they're one parcel, which in the, in the ordinance itself, it says a parcel is a lot, a parcel is one tax ID. It's all defined in there. I mean, we'll just see what the attorneys say, or what the judge says. when it's all
Buckman
said and
Hall is
done.
not handling the case.
No, it's the insurance company. It is being handled by our insurance provider.
And so why
Cause
all
this
of
was
these?
before he took us to court.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
He gave me 2 FOIA requests, and the one dates back to '05. It's got a 3 months time. The lawyer had to review it for everything he's asking for, and I've got 3 months to fulfill it. Cause there's that
So
much
it's very broad.
going into it.
Hmm.
And there was a lot of stuff back and forth regarding the FOIAs.
So
So that is, I know I was thinking that as I was typing this, there's a lot of Slavsky.
Cost of doing business.
Yes.
so what's the stage of it right now? Is it before the
It's-
judge?
it is not. Yeah.
It's filed with the court, and the attorney has, as of Friday, I submitted the final paperwork that I had to gather. So the case can only be judged on what the ZBA did. It cannot be judged on anything else. So I had to gather all the paperwork that the ZBA reviewed the case on. And that was, he filed that packet with the court on Friday and then shared it with Mr. Slavsky.
So is this the same property that we had at ZBA where the board unanimously wanted to let them do it? But
No.
couldn't?
No,
That
that's
was on
Lily.
Lakeshore Drive. This is on Timber Lane, I believe.
Yeah, it's
This is
Timberlane.
different.
Yeah, different place. Okay, any other questions, or we'll take a motion to approve the bills?
I would move we pay the bills as presented.
Judy moves,
Support.
Richard supports. Alright, then, any further discussion? Excuse me, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed the same. Alright, moving on, couple things to say that you mentioned the, cleanup day, it went really good, I had lots of people compliment us on how well it went, and, people were there at 6:30 lining up, started throwing trash about 7:15, and at one point there was a line past your house, about 8-ish, and when it's supposed to start, and by 9:15 there was no line. So really good. You counted up about 170-ish.
Yeah, about the same as last year. I mean, it seemed like it was pretty much over by like 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Yeah,
Which was
kinda steady
unusual.
and,
But it was really busy up until
It
then.
was, and there was only about 10 feet left across all the Packers combined of space. So they pretty much used all 7 trucks to the max. We only got 1 can worth of scrap, so hopefully that breaks even. And then we did fill a whole tire trailer full. So it was very, very successful. Worked out really good. Alright, then the property review, soil sampling, I called out Wamabi, and the difference I emailed you all is like $400 to $500 to, if we limited our scope, so, being that it's insignificant and as we know it's all there, I would move that we, hire out Wamabi to do the work at 6468.
I'd support.
K Sports. Any discussion? All right.
Yeah, I would
Talk
guess
fast, Marvin.
I can't. I don't think it's wise to do that. I think we just had a $6,000 bill for the elevator, and we have to be responsible with our constituents, our residents' money, and I think that if we do this, we're looking at probably a $25,000 to $50,000 total expense, because these companies are in business to find things, and they usually find something, whether at what kind of risk. Most likely very low, because we haven't had any issues for 50 years or whatever it's been used. And I think if our residents that like to use that would like to thinks that this needs to be done, they could set up a group to get the funds together to do it. But for us to do it, I think the only reason we're here doing this is because that's what the railroad said should be done with a different section. And so for those reasons, I would oppose it.
Well, Marv, I was looking in the old minutes. So last year, I think it was May or June, there was board consensus to get quotes. The whole board was on board with testing. I guess I wonder what changed from last year to now. But there was consensus. It said consensus on the board to have the testing done and to pursue it. And
To get quotes anyway. Yeah, I don't know that anything has changed. Just evaluating the whole situation. I think we should look at all sides and realize what we have limited funding and it's not a high risk. Very low risk.
Are you saying something? Sounded like you were about to say something, sorry. I don't know. I think it's worth knowing what's there at this point. We know it's a possibility, and then we can address it from there, whether through signage or whatever else. I talked to Greg, and there's ways to handle it. So,
Especially because the school uses it.
yeah, the kids running around back there, it's probably a good idea to know what's going on. So, any other comments? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed the same?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
What was Richard?
I abstained.
you can't
Okay.
abstain.
You have no.
No, an
Yes.
abstain is a no.
So you're
Abstain
yes,
is a
alright.
no, yeah.
Okay. So we got 4-1. Alright. Next up, Richard, going to the cemeteries?
Sure. I think about the only new thing I have to report is I did talk with Gary Mortensen, and he confirmed that the building at the Ellsworth Cemetery is not needed any longer.
Okay.
They haven't used it in years, so he would have no problem with us removing it.
The one at the Essex, Ellsworth?
That's yeah. Well, and the other one, that wasn't ever used for a morgue, so they would have no interest. They don't care about that one either. I did mention that, and he said, "Well, that's just been for
Storage.
only equipment or storage or something."
Yeah, when we owned our own
Right.
law equipment.
Right.
If I can get a quote to see what it would cost if you guys wanted to take that building down, but there's still cement underneath it and stuff, so I don't know if we could use it for.
Put the water point on it.
Good.
I don't know.
I think I would like to see us just include it in the quote. I mean, he can give it be a line item, but let's get a quote when we're getting quote for the other work in the cemetery that we're hoping to meet with Dylan on.
Yeah.
And I think we should remove the slab and everything. He said we could possibly even, I mean, if we need that area for a memorial or anything or a sign, that'd be one thing, but otherwise it might be a couple spaces.
Yeah, good point.
I think the watering tanks, since they're nothing special,
Yeah,
those at the back is fine.
probably a better spot than right in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
We don't have the building to hide it any longer.
No.
I think we should move it to the back.
Is there any value in that building, like just being opened up and being used as a shelter when there's graveside services and if it's raining or anything like that? I guess it's not a very attractive building, is it?
No, and the roof is starting to.
So really, it would be like building from scratch to modify it.
Right. Plus, obviously graveside services, everybody, you want to buy their grave. So they huddle under a tent if it's necessary.
I can get a price, we can start there.
Sounds good. Anything else with the cemeteries as a whole? I got something down in new business, but
So should we also pursue, I haven't looked, I don't know anything about the building at the Atwood Cemetery, I haven't even really noticed it.
No, cause that one I wanna leave alone for right now.
That's in good
Okay.
shape too.
that's a good pole barn.
I
you don't get
know.
very much for
What
it.
can we use it for? I mean, I'm serious. I would put my office in there if I thought it would be convenient to have people coming and going from the cemetery.
I don't think many people would come visit you.
See, right?
Showing up.
I really don't think people would come visit you.
I mean, it's in the wrong place, but yeah, that building is valuable. It's sound. It's
That's what I
usable.
thought.
It's usable space. It's not a.
Mhm.
I don't know if the fire department needs to store anything there, but they can.
There's
lock it
stuff
up.
in there right now.
Like what kind of stuff?
I don't know, you can look, there's stuff. I looked in the windows. There's no key, I don't know who has the key.
But we used to store a truck in there.
I'm pretty sure there's a truck in there.
We sold the truck, so what truck would be in there?
Well, that's
Well, let's get the keys.
now it's a
Let's get the
liability
keys.
issue.
Let's find the keys and get the
We could, like, it was mentioned that if it's a decent building, we possibly could get a little something for it. Cause it's just gonna, if we don't have a plan to use it, I mean, that's fine, I'm happy to wait a while and see if somebody comes up with ideas on how to use it, but it seems rather unlikely. It's just gonna deteriorate in time.
Yeah, I mean, it'll rust out eventually.
Yeah.
Everything always does. Mother Nature's
Somebody might.
undefeated. Okay, we'll see what's in it first and go from there. All right, fire hall driveway. You have imagery in here of behind the fire hall here in Ellsworth. Anybody that's interested? It's basically the area that we
The
just
quote's
approved to
right in
ask
front of it.
or have tested, and it's really pooling up water. And so the fire department asked us to take a look at getting it fixed so that it would push the water down into that creek bed or whatever that is there. And Dylan gave Julie a quote for 15 yards for $2,000. If anybody needs pictures, I can go through my text messages from Mark and show you what it looks like after a rain or walk down there after.
And this comes from the fire budget.
Yeah, this would be maintenance, yard maintenance for the fire, out of the fire budget. I would move that we do that.
Support.
Okay, you can fight over that.
Was that Richard?
Double supported it. Wow.
Was that
Be a
Richard?
quick conversation now.
Was it
It
Mark?
was me.
It was
Richard.
Richard. Okay, Richard's taking credit.
Any discussion on that? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Okay. Ambulance Authority update, we're happy and thankful that the voters, elected to enact another 0.75 mils, to keep the authority, running. I think it will be a benefit to everybody, and with that, we will be running good once we actually can receive. No, 0.75. Sorry, I don't want to give everybody a heart attack.
And it can't be on the, we can't.
Yeah, we can't collect it unfortunately in the summer
They're on
tax roll.
contract, but it will be on
Yeah.
your winter bill.
It'll be on the winter bill with the other one. So it's gonna be a little tight getting to December, but once that occurs, I firmly believe that we will be in good shape. Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. It's gonna help and keep everybody afloat, across the service area.
So speaking of floating, do we need to push the raft downstream for the payment they're going
Not
to
yet.
make to us?
Not yet.
Because
It's
August,
in
we have them
August.
August. Okay, let us know.
We'll see how it's going because
Okay.
we're bringing in, there was a problem, with the federal shutdown a few months ago. So like, or maybe early winter or whatever it was, where all the Medicaid and Medicare system was also shut down. And so we were backed up on bills and we weren't getting paid there was like $350,000 of actual receivables, like not write-offs. That's how much we should be receiving, and that stuff's finally starting to come in. And we've got improved billing software as well. That's helping us out. So that is going to make a huge difference as those funds start coming in as well. Any other questions about the ambulance authority?
Alex, so I saw some information out before the election. Is it true that they recently unionized over there?
It's not done yet, but yes, yeah, the union negotiation is ongoing.
What,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? If they're like one of very few or the only one in the area, why would they be needing that? Pushing for that?
I'm not sure how many more are unionized. In our area, I know that Charlevoix is not. I don't know about TAA, but, and I don't believe One City is. I think there were some there that, thought that this would be a way to protect their wages, given our financial struggles, but, unfortunately, I don't know that it made it better either, because it costs a lot to run attorneys and, go through union negotiations, but, we're getting close and, yeah, the board over there wants to take care of the people there as best we possibly can. So if they feel like this is the best way to do that, then we're almost done with it at this point. So
Do you think in the end will it result in higher costs other than the
higher costs?
I
don't
mean
know.
ongoing labor costs because of that?
Maybe. I don't think so. I think once we're through this union negotiation, it'll all kind of level out. But the negotiation part is the piece that takes the most money, the most attorneys, and everything else. You got to bounce these things back and forth. Ultimately, I think we'll probably end up in about the same area as far as pay goes. I mean, it's just a competitive game. I mean, you got Kalkaska paying a lot more than everybody else up here, and Emmett County and Lake Charlevoix's trying to keep up, and TAA, and we're all just fighting over the same people. It's not people from out of state or downstate moving up to be EMTs or paramedics. So we stuck kind of fighting each other.
So it's not really likely to result in the paramedics or whatever, the ambulance workers getting more money.
I would
really.
assume that it would be a significant amount more because we're limited by what we have. I mean, it's Thomas Sowell is famous for saying the real minimum wage is zero, right? I mean, you can afford people, you'll hire them at what the market rate is, and if not, you just won't hire people. And so, with this millage being passed, I think that gives us some room to maintain our competitiveness as employers, and I don't think it'll make a difference. We would have done the best by them that we possibly could have, regardless of it. So, but it is what it is. We have it, and that's on the docket for Wednesday night. So I think that's pretty well going to be buttoned up on Wednesday night. So. Anything else? All right, on to the road projects. I met with Alan Musil from the road commission today, and looked at C48 with him. And he kind of talked about it a little bit, but get the idea of he's going to give us another quote for wedging, which is what the some of the quotes are here from. And Dolan's got a wedge and overlay versus a crush and shape. Crush and shape is basically bringing it down to original, and I'm not a road engineer, so I didn't know this stuff. I've got a decent idea, but they're going to crush every bit of pavement and use that for subsoil or subgrade, and then pave right over top of that. And that takes more labor, more machinery to do, where the wedge and overlay is basically they're filling in all the gaps and making it a flat surface that then they would run 1.5 to 2.5 inch lift, depending on where it is. So you guys can see the price difference between those things.
What's the durability difference between the two?
He said with a wedge, you're probably looking at 15 to 20 years, and then crush, you probably get a little more out of it than that. Those are, yeah. I think with the wedge, you may have more possibility of old potholes recurring because you haven't really fixed the subgrade problem. But it would make a nice road there for the next couple decades, all the way from, and this, we have this proposal that you guys see is just for the village side of things. So, and there is that, there's a culvert right in front of Dollar General that goes across the road down towards the lake, and that's another 15,000 for Payne and Dolan, and it was 11,000 for Reese Riley.
Does
But then
Payne and Dolan paint the lines? Or is that an extra fee for them?
they would I don't.
Cause it's extra
I
for.
didn't ask them that. I don't recall last year if they had a separate line item in the bill.
Reed
when they
Riley
did
does.
Reese Riley, they had a separate line item, but I don't know if Payne and Dolan did last year when they did Resort Drive. I'd have to look that up. So
Why is it that Payne and Dolan and Reese Riley can give us a quote on a culvert, but road commission can't give us a
Cause it's a
quote on a
village
culvert?
on which one? On the one here in town?
No, we got the price last month, wasn't it? And it said that they couldn't determine what the price of the culvert would be. Did we get that last month?
I'm not remembering.
Well, anyway, they said it at the meeting that they had, that they could not give a price on a culvert because they didn't know what it would cost after they didn't know what the permits from Ego would come back at.
Is that on C-48?
I thought we did that on C-48 last month. Didn't we have a price from them on
about that
C-48?
either.
There is a quote for that.
Yeah, yeah. Here, I've got it right here. This is all the different roads we were considering. So
C-48.
there's nothing mentioned in there about the culvert.
Yeah, I don't believe there is any culvert between the village line and the county line.
Oh, right, and there was a bigger one, but
The big one,
we can't seem
the
to.
big one is inside the village limits. And, if you wanna fix that one, it's gonna be $300,000 to $500,000 to repair it because it's got a creek going through it and, has more Eagle permits like you were mentioning, where I know that, the village has done a lot of work to try to shore that up. I think you let that ride and, it may last another 40 years. There's so much concrete in there right now and the water's flowing okay, so, hard to say.
So Alan didn't give you any hope that they would figure out a way to get some money toward that?
Nothing yet. No, they got 26,000 in their allocation. For our township, and we're one of the highest ones, other than Mansalona, I think. But yeah, they only allocated out 350,000 this year, and so they got 26,667 or whatever it was to Banks Township would be basically it. I mean, we can continue to work on maybe getting our commissioners to help out a little bit with that project.
I mean, just because of the fact that it is a primary,
C-48.
it's a primary road, right?
Yeah, it's the primary road.
Right,
I agree.
exactly.
And I brought that up to him.
I mean,
but
we
he
wouldn't
can't
even be
speak-
asking them if it was any one of these other
Right.
roads that we have on this list.
Correct. And he can't speak for the road commissioners, right? So basically we need to go to Kevin Dieter and Pete to see if we can help, if they can find anything to help us out with it. But he's gonna send us a new quote, one that includes a wedge
Okay.
instead, so that we have kind of an apples to apples comparison. And when he sends that over, hopefully by the end of the week, I'll send it out to everybody. And if we feel so compelled, we could have a special meeting to discuss it again if we want, or, we can wait till June, either one, or, either way, it's not gonna get paid till the fall.
We have enough time to still work on it for a couple
He
months.
didn't seem like it was a rush deal at all.
I think we should work with the road commissioners as much as we can and take our time getting that back and keep looking at it. I still think that is the section of road that makes the most sense for this year's expenditure.
You're certainly gonna get your most mileage out of it.
Right.
Like, forget the pun, but, it's certainly got the most traffic, probably. Maybe, Township.
So for what it's worth, I met with John DeMoose today.
Okay.
Asked him if he was gonna put Essex Road on the, in the budget again for next year, since he got, taken out, and he looked at me and he said, they took that out because we gave the money directly to the road commission so they could do the road. So your letter was spot on.
Thank you.
Well, they sure don't, they don't seem to see it that way, or they're not.
And he was
admitting it.
shocked, talking to me and saying, no, we didn't get anything and it's not going anywhere. So I did not, on the further conversation, I did not get a promise from him to put it in the budget for this coming year. I ran out of time, but I'm gonna be contacting him directly. I did get a promise from John Roth that they're gonna put it in again this next budget. And I think we'll get John DeMoose, but like I say, I did not get that today. But he just could not believe it that the road commission didn't have a whole bunch more money, because they gave him a whole bunch more money to spend on roads. And I told him what we learned at the meeting, that's all supposed to come down the pipe next year, end of this year, and into next year, and he wasn't too happy with it all either. So.
Well, if you all have this, this was our December 31st from the Antrim County Road Commission. It had all the estimates on the back. It's the summary of the roads. So 92 miles of road projects, and it's like 20 miles are in Banks Township. There's 15 townships. There's 24 roads, and 5 are in Banks Township.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we do C48, which is an all-season Class A road, which they have that defunding, they told us they have extra funds, we're basically telling them we'll do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we just do US 31 next year too? I mean, honestly, these roads are never getting touched. And if we tell the county we'll do your job, we'll do the county road, we'll do the all-season truck route with our tax dollars, they're not going to go through this list and do any of this for our people. None of this. Essex won't get touched ever if we don't do it.
So for Essex Road, because it's getting worse, after where the flagpole is to Peebles, I mean, it's bad.
Oh yeah, I drove a trailer out there on Saturday morning. It was unpleasant.
So did you see where they tried to flatten the hump in the road?
Yeah, that's
So
the best they could, I'm sure, but.
Travis said it was a while ago, like years ago when he still worked for Antrim County. He doesn't remember the name of the road. There was an accident on a road. The guy got seriously injured because of the road conditions, sued, and won. So can we make some sort of resolution to the county that says if something happens, they are responsible for fixing that road? Since
they are anyway.
I mean,
they are. It's their asset.
Telling water's wet, but you can't do that. Yeah.
like something.
Well, and is this the most accurate 545 if we did Essex Road all the way from 31 to Church Road for 545? I think that's the upgrade. It basically has, crush and shape existing pavement, all the replace 3 culverts, guardrails, everything. We could do that in 1 year. We could take our road millage money. We have 1 year's operating expense of the general fund right now. We could lend it from the general fund to the road fund, and we could do this whole thing this year. We could do Essex Road all the way from 31 to Church Road. But I just feel like it's a slippery slope with C48. When we start doing those all-season Class A roads, why would they? They're not going to give us money. We're doing them a favor. They can just spend it elsewhere. They can, Echo. Everybody needs that road money, and that is their responsibility.
Right.
C-48 is their responsibility.
That, I think he said with that Essex Road quote from Church Road to 31, that did not include what fill might be needed in through the swamp, where it was soft and wavy. That they would have to do something there in order to make that last. They could do it that way, but it wouldn't last very long because
But what
it's soft
about-
under there.
So could you get another quote and then take it like where it's really falling apart by Peebles?
Just do that.
We did
But
that.
it's-
We did that patch at Essex. How many years ago? 15,
It
20?
is-
I mean, it's a lot better than everywhere else on that road.
Peebles, it's falling apart there on the top of that hill, but then when you go down from Church, I want to say between Church and Farrell is probably the worst, or
It
Farrell
is.
and 31
It
is the
is.
worst.
And right at the intersection by Bob Kenny's when you come down.
Yeah.
Right when you come down that hill, it's just, and we have millions of dollars of, the ambulances can't go all the way down to M88 or C-48. Ambulances, fire trucks, school buses, all that taxpayer-owned equipment. Millions of dollars of private vehicles have to rattle down that road. And the counties, they're not going to do anything. And I didn't get any indication from that meeting. I did not get any indication from anyone that Essex Road was a shoo-in for a grant or special funding. I didn't get that feeling at all. There's how many thousands of roads in the state of Michigan and Lansing and Detroit and Ann Arbor?
And that's the dilemma we're in, is that I looked it up in 1940, 20% of the state budget went to roads. Today it's 5%. That's where our problem is. And it falls on us. It's wrong. It's not right. The state, the income tax, the sales tax, and all their other income, they should be putting 20% of it to roads, or at least 10. But no, they're spending it on everything else, and they're leaving it to us. And here we are, trying to figure out what we can do with just a little bit of property tax money, and it's not where it ought to be. But we sit here. What can we do?
Yeah, they did say they're getting more money. They don't know how much or when, but they're getting more money because they're switching from the sales tax revenue to the gas tax, and it's more money, but they didn't know how much. But
Well, the number I heard, 1 million, 1.2.
they said something about
like
$1
that.
million bucks. Yeah.
The quote that Bert gave, it was a rough estimate, was 2.5, 2.6.
2.552.
And that was 4 or 5 years ago that he did that?
25. So $1 million split between 15 townships isn't going to do Essex Road either. It's
No,
us.
it's
We're the
gonna-
rescue
it's
ship.
gonna
We're
take
it.
them
We're
three-
it.
It's going to take them 3 years of that.
Well, they had
Money to do that.
3 million supposedly 3 million more coming in
Okay.
to the road commission after we put Essex Road in the budget, and then our Essex Road estimate was, I think, 2.5 or 3 million, and so that was supposed to be enough to cover Essex Road.
But I felt for some of those elected officials that were there talking about like Kidder Road and talking about 1 mil levies like $26,000. I mean, what are those townships going to do?
Nothing. Yeah, they did.
And they've got, a $300,000 or $400,000 road quote and they got $26,000. I mean,
It's pretty interesting. I mean, Milton, Elk Rapids, and Torch Lake are the 3 richest townships in Antrim County. They all have road villages. They have so much road village, they don't know what to do with it all.
because they have
They're paving
131.
roads that should be paved.
Right, because they have 31 and 131 in Torch Lake, and that's you don't touch that. You don't pay for that.
Between that and the very few miles they have.
Mm-hmm.
Banks and Mansalona, the exact opposite. 2 of the poorest townships in Antrim County with the most miles of roads, and we can do nothing.
So Katie, I understand all what you're saying. However, you can argue the converse as well. If we start paving Essex Road, then we're definitely, it's not going to get put in the budget. It's not going to get any. They're going to say, well, you started, you can finish, and so we'll get nothing from from doing that. So it's a catch-22. We're gonna lose either way.
Well, Jarvis, didn't you say that they said they would never touch Essex? The county road commission said they would never touch Essex. They're going to put their
No,
money in the
I don't
county
think
roads.
I don't think I ever said that, but it was not in the 5-year road.
No, it's not in the. It's not in the 5-year plan. It's not a priority.
Can you ask him
Pete
for
told-
another quote?
On what?
Essex.
And we want a PASER rating of all our roads in a 5-year. Yeah, we want a PASER rating, and we want someone from the road commission to come here,
Sure.
and we want a summary of how many roads everybody has. So just someone from the road commission. Kevin, Dieter, Alan,
So we need Alan now, right?
Alan, yeah. And Bert used to do that. He used to bring us. Here's what they would kind of
I mean-
recommend and whatever. And that hasn't happened in 10 years.
The road millage, always was, at least what I've been told. I was graduated from high school when this thing started, so it was all about the local stuff though that the road commission wouldn't touch.
It was supposed to be for local roads.
Yeah, I mean that's an option too. We could chip seal Farrell Road, but they're not going to touch, and actually use it that way, and just say, well, someday the road commission might get to these other roads. It's certainly an option, and I get what you're saying. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the more you do for them, the less they're going to do
And
for us.
we crossed the Rubicon. We crossed that boundary. When we did Rushton, we said, hey, you know what? We're doing secondary. We'll do your primary county roads now. But then when we start doing Class A all season, again, why not just do 31? We basically said, we don't need you. We'll do any of it. We'll just take care of it ourselves. And they'll go, thank you, because we need to go to Echo or whatever. We need to take care of Kidder Road. So yeah, we've already crossed that bridge. When we did Rushton, we said we'll do the primary roads. We'll do our secondary county primary roads.
We did have one of the road commissioners here, and if I'm correct, he did say that on his radar, Essex was number one when they get money to do something. From my traveling roads, Kidder Road is worse than Essex, but those are the two ones that I've traveled on.
Old State's bad.
Yeah, I told Alan that today. So I just drove Old State last week, and I'm pretty sure Essex is worse. And there's a section of Old State that's worse than Essex is, but on the whole, I think Essex is worse than Old State. From Central Lake to M66.
And that road gets grief. We hear complaints repeatedly for Essex Road. Repeatedly.
Well, anybody want to do anything tonight, or just want? I'll get another quote for Essex.
Yeah, get another quote for a total
And
rebuild
find
from
out.
31 to we have this.
Add the subsoil because we don't want this to fall apart in 2 years.
Right. Well, that was something that.
Then Bert was never going to do that. When I was
So why-
he never even mentioned that.
Why is more money spent in any other townships over ours? What's the deal with them not working
They
banks?
said it was based on population in like miles. So they have a formula.
That's the formula of your appropriation. That's
Yes.
your 26,000.
Yes.
And Slide Mansell only gets their 85,000.
Yeah, they get a double because they get a double
Right.
I
portion.
mean, I think if you have more roads, you should get more money, regardless of your population and your taxable value. It should be based on your roads. That's it. Your roads.
I mean, they talk about Essex Road at Torch Lake Township meetings.
Yeah,
because-
we're not the only ones using it.
They-
That's,
Right. I mean,
that's why.
if you live in Eastport, how are you going to get to East Shore? I mean, you either take Essex or you go further and take Atwood. I mean, it's very frustrating. I mean, I've done everything that I can do in 5 years, and we were talking about Essex Road when I was a brand new commissioner.
It's bad on both ends.
Yeah.
It's bad and in the middle.
In the middle, everywhere. It's awful. Yeah, that's I think why Senator Moose and Representative Roth put it in the budget, because they recognize that it does get travel, a lot of travel. Everybody had been Twin City from the lakeshore basically, and if you don't know better, if you're following GPS, it's going to take you down Essex Road from the south, and
Well, don't forget
So-
that Roth put it in the first time after he drove it.
Yeah.
So if we could get the Moose to drive it, that would be helpful. Remember when a couple years ago, Rob came here for a meeting on
Yeah, it took
Essex
us
Road?
next one.
Yeah.
And the next budget, it was it.
Well, politicians are a place up north.
Yeah, we need Governor Whitmer to come by when she's up at Birch Lake sometime.
You need
Probably
to-
I 31 got redone, that's what I heard.
But you need to take her for a ride in a truck like mine,
Yeah, or mine.
Right. where you're going to feel every little bump.
Okay, alright, well, I think that's it for that. If there's any other road things, the only I'll mention is, US 31, I'm sure people have seen that the, south of Essex Road, just over the hill, like 300 feet or so of, that bank is slid down, down towards the swamp. MDOT's taking that over. I talked to Alan, he's got nothing to do with it at this point. MDOT's fully involved with it, and they're gonna figure that out, so we'll see, what they have to do to, I was confused when they took the, lights out the other day. They must have found something in their soil borings to say that it was stable enough, I guess, but it seems like you run a gravel train on a southbound lane, that's a lot of pressure to put on there with obviously no bank holding it back, so, we'll see if they have to do something and reroute. Might be an opportunity to get some money out of the state for, and maybe the feds, to fix a little portion of the Essex and Fair, which would be pretty cool, so.
That's how
I'm
we
not
got-
saying you should root for disaster.
That's how we got Atwood Road redone.
Yeah, Atwood Road, because they were redoing Marion Center, right?
Because when they do a reroute, they say that they take heavy trucks over it and that destroys it, so they'll fix it after.
Yeah, so, we'll see, I mean, who knows, I don't know.
Imagine that. Oh,
They'll get a lot of heads turning if they have to drive that, even that portion of Essex,
That's
to
a hard,
Farrell.
that's
I mean-
a hard pull on, but the semi making a sharp turn up 31, oof.
Anyway, that's where that's at, so I figured people would be interested in that, so. All right, then, Richard, anything on the natural gas meeting? You got
Only that the meeting has been set for, I think it's a week from this Thursday, the 28th at 5 p.m. at our market. We would appreciate anybody that can come, public or from this board, certainly. And we'll just learn a lot more there.
Yeah, it's just informational from
Yeah.
DTE.
Right,
And
yep.
what,
Guy
what
from-
it would take from a, investment standpoint, right?
Right,
For-
right.
For, consumers, residential consumers and, business.
Right.
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 Figure that out. And if-
What day did you say?
Thursday, the 28th,
Okay.
5 p.m. We hope to have some people from Norwood Township there as well.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Sure.
Would be very beneficial to a lot of people out there. All right, next on the agenda is the Abbott Cemetery. We've got some graves that were sold that have caused some heartache for some people. And, Julia, I guess I'll let you run with this.
I talked with, there's two graves. I talked with there's more than two graves. There's two graves with bodies. So I talked with the wife over the phone, and then I met the wife and the husband out there, and I talked with Morton Sons. And then I contacted the attorney as well. So he showed me pictures. People are still driving over the graves. There's been stuff put in place. It's not working. And they would just like some peace. So they asked, she mentioned the possibility of moving the bodies, of disinterring them and moving them. And if we would give them trade them spots in the cemetery. So we can trade them graves in the cemetery. Morton sends the cost to disinterm, so it is a vault. You have to use a vault company. Morton sends price to move the headstones and the permits for the health department total is $48.50. Mortensen said what they're going to do to get the vault company right now is $2,000. They're going to plan it if we agree. They're going to plan to do it on a day that there's already a burial, because then the vault company will do it for them for less money because they'll already be out there. The people asked if the township would pay half. because part of the issue is the building is in the way. So between the drive and the building, big trucks and a lot of people can't make that cut. So instead of trying to make the cut, they drive over the graves. And they keep hitting the one grave, and then there's 2 empty graves next to it, which is supposed to be for the mom and dad. So then when they're eventually there, people will be driving over them. So they discussed it with the dad's siblings if they would be okay moving grandpa, and they're all okay with that. And then with their son that's buried, she discussed it with their children and they would be okay too moving him. And she just said that she would really like some peace after all this time, and this would do it. So
Yeah, it's been a difficult thing for her for a long time, and it can be argued that we probably shouldn't have sold those lots to begin with. So, and we asked the attorney about it because I don't know the first thing about moving bodies, and he said you could do that or you could do traffic control. We've priced fence before, and fencing would be a lot more money than just splitting it with these people, and it'd probably be the right thing to do. I mean, to move those 2 bodies and make it right for their family, and we never sell those. They're blocked off permanently.
they'd be marked as unusable.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tree that is there, so we would have to decide if we are going to move the tree. I could get a hold of, I know Milt Pot does that, so I could get a hold of him about having the tree moved, which the family did say if that were an option, they would give up one of the lots that they have where they're gonna go to put the tree on the lot, so it could still be by their son. Or we cut the tree down, but the tree has to be removed too. So I don't have a price on that though.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with this corner, but when you come, it's the northernmost driveway in Atwood. If you go all the way straight at the pole barn and turn right, it's a really tight turn, especially for our fire truck, our tankers that go out there to fill the water, blivet, and then you got landscaping, Brian's out there.
Mortensen's have a hard time.
Mortensen's with their rigs.
Yeah, and the vault company's getting stuff around. And Brian said he was out there once, and the fire truck, the tanker truck, was out there to fill the water containers, and turned, and they have rocks lining it so people stay off the grave. And in the tires, the dualies actually caught one of the rocks and flung it at another headstone. So we're lucky at this point that nothing has happened. So.
Well, and they're dealing with these grieving parents are dealing with a problem they didn't create. It's our fault, and I think they're doing us a favor by being willing to go through the process again of reburying their child. So I think we should pay for the whole thing.
So did you indicate that moving the building could solve the problem too?
Well, theoretically. Yeah,
Theoretically, but it'll cost a whole lot
you
more.
could push the driveway over. I mean, you could push the driveway further east, and then the turn would not happen where it does now. It's true. I mean, that's possible.
I mean, yeah, I think we don't.
I don't know what the market is for a used pole barn of that size.
Yeah, but if we would agree that if it's not being used, it's not an asset, then that could solve the problem too. I'll bet for sure you could get rid of the building for nothing if you posted it for. You take it away, leave it nice and clean, take it for free. It's yours. It probably wouldn't cost us anything to get rid of it.
Someone would be out there tonight,
right?
Pulling off that
Yeah,
metal, but
We probably could get a few. I don't know what size it is or anything about the condition. You might get a couple thousand for it. And if that would solve the problem, and we don't have to move the bodies, and we've got
Instead of costing us money, it would at least break even then. Huh?
Yeah, I guess I'd like to consider that option before we go to all that effort and move the bodies. And
yeah, I mean, that's fine.
So does someone want to get a price on the building?
well, I'd go look at it. I mean, we've actually done that. We gave away parts of our old the old Elsinga market.
Well, yeah.
There was a pole barn on the end. I don't remember, we didn't get much, but we got a few $1,000s, and somebody took it all apart and took it away.
Yeah.
And
Well, we would need that, and then it's got concrete underneath that would have to be brought up too. So what is the cost of removing something like that?
Well, Dylan takes concrete for nothing, so it'd just be a matter of scooping it up and hauling it up there.
There are also graves to the south of that building, right?
Not yet. There are, but there are no bodies in them.
Are they sold?
Yes,
Okay.
Some are.
Later,
some are,
capacity.
some are not.
Well, yeah, that would
Yeah.
be part of it, to figure out whether actually removing the building does solve the problem and make enough room
Mhm.
to make the turn comfortably and so forth. But
Well,
if
that
we're
just
not using the
pushes
building,
it out several months too, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it will slow things down, without question. Yeah, I like the idea of splitting it with them. I understand where you're coming from, Katie, entirely. They probably shouldn't have been sold. There were other options. You didn't have to buy next to the road either, the driveway. So I don't know, but I would prefer to split it. But
I can try and figure out what that building is worth, and
we could do both. We could split it with them and sell the building off and maybe recover the cost of moving them.
I think that they've waited long enough to have peace.
Yeah.
That I don't feel like this is something. I get what Richard's saying, but I don't think this is something that we should keep pushing off. Their son died in 2018, so I can't imagine having my child die, and for every year after that, I have to deal with someone driving on him, doing stuff to his grave. Like I just, and being out there with her and watching her, this is really big.
It is. I agree. I think it'd be great to put it to bed.
You know, and then at that, like we can do that, we can do this for them, and they can have their peace, and it may even be better for them to be somewhere else and be away from this spot that has created so much stress for them.
Yeah.
And then if we still want to look at selling the building and removing all that, we can still do that, and hopefully then recoup the cost of this. But I do think that this is something we should do.
I mean, it probably will take a little while too, right? Because Mortenson's going to coordinate it with
Well,
the.
Gary said people are always dying, so it won't take that long.
Well, that is one.
I really like
That is one
Gary.
way to look at it.
Because he said
You gotta have a sense of humor, I suppose, in that.
he said it doesn't have to be someone who's getting buried in. I asked him in Atwood Cemetery. It could be anywhere. It's getting the vault company there. He said, "Don't worry, we have lots of burials scheduled." So, if you guys could have,
scheduled for next week that I know of.
if you guys could have been there with the mom and the dad and talked to them, you would have felt it. You would have seen it.
Yeah, I was out there once and met them and talked, and they told me all about Aaron.
Yeah, this is.
Anyway, did you have a motion? Or did
I make the motion
you did?
that
Okay,
we
I wanna make sure you actually made a motion.
that I'm gonna make the motion that we pay for the whole thing.
And right now it's quoted at $4,850. Gary is thinking it will be less. That's with the vault company coming out just to do them. He is saying that's why he said if the vault company comes out and then does them the same day, it will be less. And that includes
Grandpa.
So it's $2,000 for the vault company, $2,400 from Mortenson's. To move the headstones is $100 each, and then the permits through the health department is $250.
Do they and you have a place picked out? Where
Yes,
they go?
they have a place picked out. I took the maps out with me when I met them, and they picked out a new place. It is back from where they are now. It is on the edge of a road, but it's farther away than where they are now. It is still on the edge, but it's farther in.
You really feel like, based on your meeting with them there, that they would be much happier to be moved than to have the problem go away because by way of the building moving.
I think so. I can ask her.
I think it's probably a trauma thing too, right? I mean, going back to the site of the thing that's been a problem for you for
Because
6-7 years.
I
8
did
years.
ask her when we were standing there. I did ask her if she thought she could do this. Did she think that she could move him? Was she ready for that? And she said yes. I was out there for probably 2 hours with them.
I guess I would really like it if you could ask them if they would have a preference. I mean, that seems a little traumatic to have to move those bodies. Is it 2 bodies, right?
2, yeah.
2. I mean, if we'd be ask them if we were willing to move that building and solve the problem that way, would you? What do you think of that as opposed to having to move the bodies? Because I think it might be an opportunity to get rid of the building that we probably should get rid of anyway, and
Or we move it,
maybe not have it cost us anything.
move the building to Atwood and make that our substation for an ambulance.
Oh, is it that big?
Big enough for an ambulance.
Can it be moved? Can it be picked up?
Well, the pole barn.
Pole barns would have to be disassembled, I think.
Disassembled.
Disassembled.
Well, but yeah, I mean, it's in good
But
shape.
you have this. You have all the materials.
Yeah.
It's just really labor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Might not be
The fencing we
as
have,
good.
the chain link fence out there, we bought between us and the neighbors to the south. We bought used from the village, and we had an installer go out and cut it and reinstall it. So that was used fence reinstalled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
very reasonable thing.
I asked her.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, let's table
But
this
can we
until
pause-
the end of the
can we
meeting.
can pause,
there
yeah.
for a few minutes then?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
paused.
All right, come back to that with her motion still on the table. All right, pig roast contribution. Historically, the township put in money for the pig roast, I think, since its inception, I believe. Is that right, Katie?
I think so.
Back in the
I think
80s,
so.
and
Wow.
last year or two, we've done $3,000 as our contribution. Make sure I'm using the right legal term.
Yes.
So anyway, that's a pretty big event. It's the biggest one in our township.
And it provides all
for the-
kinds of free activities and
Mhm.
events and
Yeah.
recreation and culture for the entire community, free of
Right.
charge. Except for the food, they gotta pay for their food.
Yeah, you pay for the food. Yeah.
I
But
noticed,
they are gonna do a full-blown pig roast this year. That is my understanding, right, Tina? So, what were you gonna say, Mark? Sorry.
I noticed the letter we got tonight is telling us about the people in the township that are paycheck to paycheck and hardly making it, and seems to me like these next 3 items are discretionary and not a requirement of government, and not. We just need to keep our citizens in mind of who's, are they able to stay on the property, increase their mortgage, as the letter said.
So I get what he's saying, but this is something that all residents do enjoy and partake
Or they certainly have access to it.
and have access to.
If I could speak, the purpose of the pig roast is that because of that very thing. It is, the mission is to provide a free event for families that could not afford to go to food festival and Venetian and places where you have to pay for every little thing. And that the whole purpose, the premise is to pay for as much as we possibly can so that everything that we offer is, that we can offer the same quality free, 100% free, because of that very reason, because this community doesn't have the same amount of money that other communities do.
Yeah. So I would, counter argument here, Marv, I'm sure you'll be shocked. That it actually is better financially for our residents to do these things, because, like you just said, you get a whole week of two nights, Friday night and Saturday night, that are profoundly popular. I mean, come down for that water slide, and you got more kids in Ellsworth than you've had in decades. And everybody's having a great time. Hopefully the weather's nice as it usually is. And then, you know, the next one, fireworks, you know, if the township kicks in $2,500 and that allows them to hit their goals. I'm not sure if you partake in the fireworks, but they are pound for pound, city for city, the best.
It's the most active night of all.
It's the most active night in our community for sure. But they are absolutely right up there with Charlotte, Boyne City's, Petoskey's fireworks. And if I don't have to drive there at $5 a gallon, I save money. And likewise for the recreation program, if I don't have to drive my kids to Charlotte to play baseball or Little League, or Central Lake or East Jordan or whatever, that's cheaper for me as well, as a parent. And the amount of money here we're talking about is really. If you said, well, okay, we're not going to pick those, we're not going to do these, with $9,000 worth of things. We could send everybody a check for 55 cents, and or $2, and you can buy a candy bar at the Farmers Exchange. I mean, it's just I don't think that not doing these things is going to make a big enough impact to change people's lives. I mean, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not going to impact your taxes, and let's be real. These things are for children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is for our kids. This is for the families. These are for the children, and they can't come and they can't vote and they can't speak. Well, they could speak at public comment. We're doing this for the. We're doing this for the children in our community, and as far as the fireworks, it's our 250th anniversary. It's a big deal. We celebrate this, independence and patriotism. These are all big things that foster community and bring people together and bring them together in a place, and it's important. I would move that we do the contribution. I would move that we pay the pig roast $3,000.
I'll support it.
Julie, I'm sorry, you had something to say.
Discussion?
Well,
You want to add to the patriotism
No.
or for the children?
No, I'm good with my kids take part in this. The water slide's a ton of fun.
Oh my gosh,
They love it. I mean, Ryder comes down like an hour before to watch them set it up. Like the kids really love it. The fireworks are huge. No, I was gonna say, like, in the rest of the budget though, I'm all for, if you want to take a look at like the different items that we could put a cap on spending. We can absolutely. I'm for doing that. I know in the letter he mentioned he thinks the attorney costs got a little high for a little bit, but they are definitely backing down from where they were to be. But we can look at all that stuff. But this kind of stuff for the community, I think is worth it. I watch the fireworks too. I used to be able to see it from my house. I mean, if I have any complaint about the fireworks, I think we should move it. I wish they would move
Closer
it.
to your house.
Well, no, if you moved it to the next lake over.
On Ellsworth.
Yeah, because
we used to be able to see it, but then the trees got too high.
Yeah, so
you
if
need to cut the trees down.
you either gotta cut the trees down, or like if they moved it to the Ellsworth Lake, I think it might help a little bit too, because there's maybe. But then you'd have better parking for residents, because I just.
Yeah.
It's building community. These are all community building things, which is very important.
Yeah, I agree. Any other discussion on it?
Bring your kids to the water slide this year. You'll see. It is.
And the grandkids.
And the
Bring 'em all.
grandkids. Seriously,
I was
it
gonna
is.
say his kids are too big for the water
Richard's
slide.
great.
Jairus go down
Jairus.
I have seen adults go down it. Okay.
Every year I consider it. I just know I'm going to break something. Wow.
Yeah.
It looks so much fun. It looks.
I don't know. The pool of the water at the bottom is enough to make me like. I don't know. Yeah. But the kids love it.
All right, then.
I appreciate the conversation,
Yeah,
and
same.
I'll concede. It's not something I do, but
All right, then, all in favor of pig roast contribution for 3,000,
Did anyone support it?
say aye.
Alex did.
Oh, you did. Aye.
Aye.
All right, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? All right, motion carries. Fireworks contribution, I'll make that motion.
Support.
Richard supports. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same? Okay, that one carries. And the recreation contribution,
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
any more discussion on that? Not all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same.
I heard back from the mom.
Okay, let's go back to that for a moment.
Move the graves. After 8 years, we are tired of fighting this. We just want peace and closure.
Good.
So. I will support Katie's motion to pay it in full. It's $4,800. Hopefully less, depending on what Mortensen's can do for us. And Mortensen's is already, the actual cost of moving the bodies was, I want to say Gary told me 32. He wouldn't charge that because of who it is and what is going on. He's only charging 24.
Okay, so he's already giving you a 25% discount on it.
Yeah. And he's figuring out with the vault company how to get it even less. So.
Okay.
And then if we still want to look into moving the building, and hopefully then we can break even.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember looking at fencing and everything and looking at all this stuff, and it was thousands of dollars.
Tens,
Yeah.
it was in
Yeah.
the tens, I think.
Mhm. Moving the road.
All right, any more discussion on this? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same?
They're voting, Alex.
Oh, they are they? Good. Prepare yourself, kids. Need people to take these spots. All right, we want to serve. All right, padded chairs.
Okay, any appetite for me to get a quote for a couple dozen padded folding chairs for the audience? And maybe some filters to make these lights a little more easy on the eyes?
Oh, man.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. Anybody else have an issue with getting a quote? All right, then that unanimous consent, that's done. All right, then finally, board attendance.
And conflict of interest. So we all remember that Catherine was at the planning commission meeting and she talked about board interference, board attendance, how undue pressure could be felt from a board member attending a planning commission meeting. And I wasn't at the meeting, but I watched it. We canceled our joint meeting, and I did notice, for instance, Marv, I'm talking about you. When you spoke, when you interjected during the meeting, you were not corrected. And then I noticed other members of the public did the same thing and they were immediately chastised. So I think that illustrates that there may be a little, I don't want to say intimidation, but that it does show that there was some influence by the board, by a board member on the planning commission. If they had jumped you and told you to, be quiet and wait till public comment, I would feel differently. And the other issue is the conflict of interest. And it was last June, I think May or June, last summer, when we had Doug Needham here from Michigan Aggregates at your request, and he talked about the virtues of gravel. And then we had a discussion of sand and gravel, and you recused yourself. And now you are participating in discussion with the Planning Commission about the sand and gravel ordinance. And I'm perplexed, the public is perplexed, how we've gone from a recusal to now we're participating in the conversation. Is there a conflict of interest, Marv?
To me, no, it's apparent there's not a conflict of interest. I did recuse myself because I was asked to do so at that meeting and was not prepared to think through the issue and whether or not there was. A conflict of interest would be in the case if a person had an application, which I did have, I no longer do, so that conflict of interest is not there. But during that application, I told the Planning Commission and I told the Township Board on separate occasions that I was applying for gravel for the community. It was for the community, and not just for me. So that was the first indication that even now there's not a conflict of interest. Some people think that for some reason that I can't be a member of the public speaking at a planning commission meeting, and I can't be a member of the board making decisions as a board member. And it seems to me like that's the conflict, that you can't, it's not right to tell a person you can't be public and you can't be a board member. I happen to think that all of us are public, and the 5 of us are board members. So it seems to me like there's just a vendetta out there to try and silence me. Let's see, I had another thing on conflict of interest. So I'm still, I explained to this, I think it was this board once before, that if I was in it for me to get gravel and to make a bunch of money on gravel, I would have hired an attorney. I would be in favor of zoning, and I think we all know that gravel companies that want to get gravel, they hire their attorney and they fight the township, and the gravel companies either tell the township or themselves that we got more money than you do, and they do. The gravel companies do. They have way more money than the township does, and our attorneys have told us that they're winning. And so if that is what I wanted, something for myself rather than for the township, I would be taking a different track. And zoning would be beneficial. If I was wanting gravel and making money on gravel, it would be way more beneficial to me if we would have zoning, and so that have it restrictive enough so that I went through the process and got it approved, and then I'd have a gravel pit, and I'd charge whatever basically I wanted for that gravel, because nobody else would be able to afford to go through the same process. Whereas if we have either no zoning or less restrictions, then that hurts me. If I want gravel, if I want to make money on gravel, that would hurt me, because gravel price would be lower, because Dylan could get gravel, or Buffman, or your parents, Katie, or Alex, whoever's got property. Julie's got property with gravel on it.
You all had gravel on
Yeah,
your
you have
property.
enough property too now.
I have gravel on my property. I could be.
All 5 of
Could
us
be running the
theoretically
show.
could.
So I think that fact in and of itself proves that I do not have a conflict of interest, but I have the community interest in mind in what I'm doing on this board, and by what I'm doing at the planning commission. We're trying to help the community think through all the avenues. And is there a risk when you do something? Yes, there's a risk when you go drive down the road. You might get killed. Is there a risk of us board members coming to a planning commission and someone thinking that we maybe have undue influence? There's probably that risk. But I tend to see the planning commission as being independent minded, and I think this last meeting just proved that. After I spoke, the planning commission chair and others did exactly opposite of what I was talking about. So they aren't unduly influenced by me. It was a very, very clear indication of that. So do I have a conflict of interest? Absolutely not.
Well, and Marv, I know you got a lot of miles under the hood. You know, you've served on committees, you've done a lot of planning and zoning, and you know a lot. But the attorney did say that our interference, per se, could lead to challenges in court. So by us going to the meetings, a board member, and the appearance of interference could unravel and undermine all the work the planning commission is doing, and possibly this board too. So I would like to see us follow the advice of the attorney. And if you are going to attend, she said, just have a comment at the end. Do not partake in the meeting. I know you gave him some handouts. I'd kind of like to know what those handouts are. I know you gave him a handout for the master plan too. I mean,
So what I did on going to the meetings, I asked our supervisor, Alex, we talked about this, and he told me to go ahead if that's what I think and go to the meetings. So I did not do this on my own. Yes, I had a desire. Yes, I understand what you're saying. There could be a risk, and hopefully that won't come to fruition. That kind of a risk, but I believe every one of us should have enough interest in what's going on in the township to be able to have our input on the various different committees and different things that are going on. So I would disagree. I would think, I don't disagree that there's a somewhat of a risk. I don't think that risk is significant enough that we just sit back at home and say, well, whatever happens, happens.
I don't think that's what we're saying.
but you do have an opportunity at some point. They come before us. Like with the master plan, I entered my comments in with the public, did the online survey. And again, we have to be a part of the process for the amendments to the zoning ordinance. It goes planning commission, county, comes back to us. So we are a part of the process, and I feel like we should be a part of the process at the right stage.
So I think we should be even more part of the process, and I would request that we all be given the packet for the planning commission meetings so that we are up to speed on what their rationale and what their reasons are for the things that they're doing and deliberating on.
All right, I'm going to step in here for a second. That is a interesting choice of the way I would have said what I said. I believe what I said was you got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to sit here with a police officer and not let you in the meeting. You've been informed, just like the other four of us, as to the potential repercussions. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and not allow you into a public building. I don't think it's a good idea. And per the letter that we received today talking about attorney fees, I would like to see this stuff all be put to bed. But if there are people out there who don't want a change to the gravel ordinance, all this does is give them ammunition. And it would behoove us not to create more expense with attorneys, because what I don't think any of us want to see is us to go through all this work, rebuild this soil extraction ordinance that for the big producers is fine. I talked to Elmer's one-on-one about it, and they said they were fine with it, with the exception of the things that the planning commission worked on a year and a half ago, or a year ago, whatever, and we voted down at this board level. Had we approved those things, Elmer's would have had no problem whatsoever with our ordinance.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Well, I was in the truck with them.
Elmer's would not apply for a gravel pit under that ordinance.
I'm telling you, I was in the truck and I asked them point blank, what's wrong with it? And they said, they gave me a list, and that's the things we changed. And that was it. They had problems with the height because it inhibited operations. They had no problem with the requirements to put things back where you found them, or the size of how much. That one they may have wanted a little bit bigger. I'd have to go back and look at the list as far as how much dirt you could be moving at a time. But the testing and stuff like that, they were fine with it. And I just don't want to see us go through this process. I hear what people are saying, that it's too much legalese and all that. Okay, well, there's other, the Yankee Springs one that you guys are looking at, and some other ones that we can look at that are still protective of the township, but not so difficult to read. I would hate for us to go through that process, fix it to be more of a middle ground for people, and then have it all fought over in courts, up to appeals, and who knows how high it goes, and then have to spend all that money on attorneys. If we just do it right, if we just let the process work the way that it works, the attorney, Catherine, has offered up that we can provide our input to the planning commission. Just send her a letter, and that's what I did. I sent Patty an email saying these are the things I'd be looking for in an ordinance, and I'm happy to provide that to everybody if you want it, but we'd have to bring it to a meeting so that I don't want to be discussing stuff out at school here. But all you have to do is send that letter, say, here, Patty, this is what I'm looking for. I'm a voter here on this board, and this is what I would like to see in an ordinance, and then they can chew on that. The five of them can figure it out from there, and hopefully send us something that will get 3 votes.
But shouldn't it come, so I emailed Patty and just said, please point me in the direction of the correct ordinance, and she told me yes, in fact. So I printed it off, I'll be
This is
following,
Yankee Springs?
this is the
Okay.
Yankee Springs, I'm gonna follow along with what they do. Shouldn't the proper procedure be when it comes to us? Instead of us passing notes,
Well,
shouldn't it come to us, and then we as a board will hash it out, and we'll,
yeah.
because otherwise, well, I guess I could just walk into every meeting, the ZBA, the planning commission, and go, here's what I think, here's what I think. Do you see what I'm saying? Now you're
Yeah, but
almost dabbling in interference.
It is coming back to us. though.
Yes, we will have a chance
Yeah,
to.
you ultimately will have
Right.
that. And the Catherine's opinion on that is basically, at least this is my understanding of it, is you're going to give that input, whether it's now or at the end of the process. So you might as well give it to her now. Give it to the planning commission so that they can chew on it now and potentially
Save a little time.
save some time, save some headache and heartache. I don't want to kick stuff back to
Well,
them.
what is
They-
the
they
proper,
work so
then what
hard.
is the proper way to do that?
You would have to
Just send
email
an email
to Catherine and Patty.
Yeah, Catherine and Patty, and
And
it's
notice.
not,
Sorry.
it's not, big, long, drawn out arguments, and debate. These are my ideas of things that we could look at, and then let them chew on it.
Well, and then do they have to, how they gonna process and deal with input from 4 separate board members?
Well,
Well-
Katie, the planning commission is constantly asking for more direction from this board.
Right, and
So
we
I
should
think this is a
be,
good example of
we
how to
should
do
be
it.
having conversations and then providing that. I feel like it coming from 4 different directions is not going to save time.
So what's the difference
'Cause I
between you sending an email to the planning commission and me handing them a piece of paper? I did it in public and you did it in private. Other than that, there's no difference.
I think that the difference would be the interaction during the meeting would be the big thing. It's the back and forth with, like Jairus and Tina talked tonight, and I'm just letting it happen, right? But if that was
Controversial.
or if we had different boards that were talking to one another, that would be, I think, more of an issue. Granted, for the
And what if everything you requested, I absolutely had a completely different? So then what's the PC to do? That's why I feel like
Well,
the deliberation should take place in a public meeting with the board. And then we should have this.
I agree. Well, that's why I wanted to have the joint meeting. Unfortunately, Catherine wasn't available.
Well, a
That's why
planning
I-
meeting, we could do a planning meeting, get our ZBA, we've done that before. It wasn't a scheduled business meeting, but we got everybody in a room and we all talked about the issues we were facing.
Okay.
That is a great idea, if we wanted to do that, maybe even have the village, invite the village to it, but,
That's fine with me. I'm happy to do that.
but again, to me, it looked like influence, and the way that the PC responded to him by letting him interject letting you interject during the meeting and having, an ongoing conversation, and then someone else spoke and they were told to, sit down, shut up, showed me exactly what undue influence looks like.
Well,
That
just
they were influenced
for the
by you.
record, I was told to be quiet. It was
By
quiet.
the PC or
No,
by?
by the audience.
Well, the PC should have told you to. They should have said it's at the end. But then again, that conveyed to me that they felt a little intimidated.
I think it opens us up to a lot more risk, and knowing that I think all 5 of us are not wanting to spend a bunch of money. I would
Right.
prefer to not have to go. Not to mention, I don't want the
Thank you.
headache and heartache of dealing with lawsuits, and I just would prefer the process go as smoothly as possible with as little risk, as much risk aversion as I can get. I'm an accountant. That's what I do. I'm sorry.
And transparent again. We want to be in court over this.
No,
And
We are right now.
no, over gravel, sand and gravel. No, I mean, yeah, that would be someone
that's-
challenging the way it came.
That's what the MTA classes said. That if you have zoning, you're going to have a lot more risk of court, and you probably will have, and then a lot more expense than if you don't. So
yeah, it's
if,
possible.
if we're averse to risk, we sure better not have zoning, because then we could get rid of 90% of our attorney's cost right now, and we wouldn't be at risk of going to court.
You could, but I mean, there's a lot of people who are happy that we have it, that we have zoning. I know there's plenty that don't like it too, but that's where reasonableness comes in. Trying to make it reasonable so that it fits the broadest group of people for our community. Yeah, you're right. If you have zoning, you absolutely have more potential for lawsuits, without a doubt. It's just that's part of the deal.
So with the same principle, it's if we go to the meeting and have some input, yeah, you got a little more risk, but you'll have a better result in the end.
But to go back to your earlier argument, right? You take a risk every time you get on the road, right?
Mhm.
So we're getting on the road. We have zoning. If I drive 120 miles an hour down Essex Road, my risk goes up significantly. I don't know if you can get to that point, but you die trying. It just opens us up for a lot more, and I would encourage you to utilize the tools that our attorneys have offered us, to just give them some guidance, and then let them run with it. Let them do their job and hash this stuff out and figure out what they think will work best for this community. There's people on both sides of the issue on that board, and I think that they can hammer something out that will be have concessions for both sides and be somewhere in the middle. So that's just my opinion.
So you have no dilemma with, if you want to say attorneys, whoever, telling me that I'm not a member of public nor a member of the board.
We are. You can come she said you can come. I mean, nobody's gonna stop you. But she did recommend that you stay quiet and just listen and kind of take in and if you must have
that's
a comment.
not being a member of the public then. If you have to just sit and be quiet,
Well,
and
they
just
are.
listen.
They're doing it. Well, they're not.
No,
tonight.
they aren't. They,
not tonight, but most nights. I mean, we have everybody be quiet.
no, you have them speak in public comment.
Well, but she said you can speak in public comment.
Oh, well, that's different than what you were just saying. So, okay.
I mean, the recommendation
The
is
only
the recommendation is to do nothing at all, right? To not do it, and then if you must be there, please be quiet in the back of the room. And then if you absolutely must comment, do it in public comment, and you try to avoid the influence as much as possible.
I would point out that the comment that I made had nothing to do with gravel, and it had a question from the board trying to ask what the question from the planning commission trying to ask what the board was thinking, and so yeah, I had insight for that.
Good luck with the board's thinking.
That is true, because I wasn't able to answer
Yeah,
the
you didn't
ones.
remember.
So actually, I would say as a board member and a planning commissioner, I would say that I generally have definitely appreciated Marv's input and think it's been helpful. But I guess I also I think we're at a point in this, Marv, where it's not gonna hurt the process for you to do what's being requested here, and just maybe take that one little step back and not participate in quite the same level in the dialogue of the meetings.
And it's about public trust, Marv. It's about building trust and showing the public, I mean no harm, I'm harmless, I'm here to listen, whatever. We have to build trust with our community. Our voters need to know they can trust us.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, you're gonna have a debate on that.
And again, Alex is not the boss of us. He's not going to tell us you can go or not go. And I can see him saying, you gotta do
supervisor
what you
is
gotta
a highly
do.
inflated word.
I
okay?
I'm just Alex here. I'm not telling everybody they can. You're permitted to enter. You're not. I can see you just being like, you do what you need to do, Marv. You didn't.
All I do is
You
give you the best
didn't-
advice I can.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. For 5.5 years, I've done what I can to not go to court.
you know, it is interesting. I happen to be aware of a situation where I know the Hayes Township supervisor personally,
Mhm.
Bill Conklin.
Oh.
He told me he goes to planning commission meetings and talks all the time.
Oh.
It's never an issue, never
Yeah.
been an issue in their township. He's never heard of such a thing. So he's an attorney too, by the way. That's what he does in private life. So I don't know.
I don't know
I
the
think
right
it's odd
answer.
that we're making that big a deal of it, but
I just, I don't know. Because, Richard, I went to planning commission meetings before I knew about this too. But then I think it was Brian said, don't go to those. And I said, okay, I won't. No problem. I'll get my Tuesday night back.
right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't.
Because to the same effect, I was going to try to be helpful. Like, this is what the board, other 4 members of the board are looking for. And, what our situation is, and this is what I would recommend that you guys look at. And then let them go with it. They didn't, to your point, they didn't always do what I wanted them to do. And so,
We have
but-
independent thinkers. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. That's
we had a planning
what we're aiming
commission.
for.
We had 4-1 to ask them to bring up the master plan, and they voted no.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
this theory of undue influence is just that, a theory,
Yeah.
just a scare tactic.
Right. I don't see it. I don't
try
see
and
the
quiet
undue
some voices that-
influence at all. But
I just think it opens up the possibility, and that's the biggest thing, is just trying to mitigate those things as much, when there's other avenues to. I don't think anybody in the planning commission wants where you stand on gravel.
Well, to be
Or anything else,
I don't
So,
try to toot my horn, but there's nobody else on that planning commission or this board that knows as much about gravel as I do. I've been through a lot of process that nobody else has.
Yeah.
And so, like you just said, just trying to be helpful.
I know. But when I found out that it was a risk, that's when I quit. I never thought of it that way. When you do it, just thinking of being helpful and not thinking there was a risk of lawsuits down the road as to the ordinances that may or may not get through the planning commission. So anyway, I think we've hit that enough. Unless somebody else has something that's just eating them up.
yeah, I think the only reason it's a risk is because it is such a contentious thing in our township, and now especially because it's been made public that the attorney has said this, so that somebody that doesn't, if something doesn't go the way they want, now they would be even more inclined to
Right.
bring a lawsuit. So I think to avert that possibility, we probably should just. I don't think it's going to hurt the process for you to step.
Yeah,
in.
she said that in the Q&A. The public asked her about it, and she said, no, I've advised the board not to go. So, again, now it's out there. It's public, and this is what the attorney told the people at the planning commission meeting last month. She said, yep. So,
Anything else?
Yeah, I have something to read.
Okay.
Deborah says, thanks, praise the Lord. Thank you so much. You just made both of us weep. We finally get peace. God bless you. I can't say thank you enough. Please read to the board. Our baby finally gets rest. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. So, thank you guys for helping us do this for them.
Indeed. Good work.
I have one more question.
Sure.
And we have any update on the qualified voter file? And we had a pretty big discussion last month, and if there's been any resolution or happenings?
Victoria was told by the BOE to stand down, that if she didn't, they would take her to court. The BOE also called in any voter that she changed in the system or challenged. They changed them back. For me, it was one voter. So he went back to being unchallenged. She was told to not send any more postcards or letters or anything out until it's settled. If she continues to do so, the state will go after her. So I haven't gotten, she's sent a couple, like a jury notice came back to her from a resident that lives here. And on the jury notice, the person wrote, they don't reside in the States, they're in the UK, which is true. She's going to college in the UK. I know who she is. Her parents live here. She lived here before she went to U of M. Now she's studying abroad. Her parents still live here. She still comes home here. And I did tell her that. She's a college student. So I can't just cancel her because she's overseas. She has every right to remain a voter. And then there was one that she sent me where the person wrote on the postcard she sent out, cancel me, I don't want to be a voter. I actually sent that postcard to the BOE for clarification on what to do in an instance like that, because how do I know the person? I mean, I looked it up. The signature on the card matches the signature in QVF, but how do I know?
Who actually wrote that on the card?
Yeah.
Is it in the postcard?
Yeah. So I'm not willing to cancel anyone without actually reaching out. So no one else has been, nothing else has happened.
So,
I don't appreciate her husband on the radio specifically attacking the clerk of Banks Township, and only the clerk of Banks Township. I will have you know, I was not the first township that they went after. I was number 5. I spoke to the rest of the clerks. They did not go in alphabetical order. He's wrong. I will also note that he made a comment that the cards were sent to 1,400 voters in Banks Township, and the 230 are the names that bounced back. Did you get a postcard? Okay. Did you get a postcard? No, not your family, just you. No? Did you get one? Did any of you get one? I didn't. He did not. She did not send them to all 1,440 voters.
did she send them to that list that you sent us?
The 230 names.
Okay.
Which then I went through that list and I made those columns. There are people on there that do not vote. That's their right. They have a constitutional right to register to vote. They have a constitutional right to not vote. There are people on that list that do not appear in my QBF, which is why I've asked her where she got her list from, because they're not in mine. So I don't know how you can say they are when they're not. There are people that she sent it to that are snowbirds or seasonal. You know, they live here, and then in January through April, they go somewhere else. They have every right to do that. This is still their primary residence. There are people that, a lot of those people vote. They may not vote regularly, but they vote. So when I asked how she picked the people she sent it to, she said she went on people that hadn't voted in the past 2 federal elections. But if you look at the dates that they voted that I sent to you, there are people that voted in 25 on there. There are people that voted this year. Why are they on there? It doesn't make sense.
So, yeah, I agree with that. But it does bring me to the question, and I'm not trying to defend her, but I just have a question. So, how are we, as a township, protecting our voter file? How are we making sure that people that move away or die or whatever are no longer on our list?
So if people die, the county is actually responsible for putting that death certificate in and sending out, it kicks it in QVF, which will then come to me. But like, I know a voter that died while in Florida. So I started that cancellation process because his wife told me he passed away. And then just to verify again, I looked up his death, I looked it up, the obituary. We're a small community. And you hear, like, you know your people. Even if I don't, because I'm not from here, those election workers do.
And you get
so
change of
when-
address too. You get
And
that
I get
from,
change of address.
you get change of address from Secretary of State when they move.
So
Yeah.
so election mail can't be forwarded. So anytime I send anything out that has to do with the election stuff, if that address, if that cannot be delivered to the person there, it bounces back to me. And then at that point,
I can send a challenge letter, and you can start the cancellation process. It's a 8-year process though to actually cancel someone for QBF. So they can, in that 8 years, they can come in and say, oh look, I'm still here, I still want to vote. Now, part of what happened this past election, for all those ballots that bounced back, I actually called those people because a lot of them were seasonal residents and said, I need the address of where to send your ballot. They were people, a lot of them were people that I knew. One of the people that's on her list, they went down to visit family downstate, and the wife got sick, and they're still there. He's taking care of her. He can't bring her home. So the ballot went down there. I said, well, where do you want me to send your ballot? This is their home. He shouldn't have to register to vote down there just while he's taking care of his wife until he can bring her back. But I do, like, as people come in, there's 2 that bounced back with ballots that I sent a challenge letter to. There's 2 that got challenge letters. There's 3. One, the challenge letter got to her, and she wasn't very happy with her challenge letter, and I explained that I had no other way to reach her. And she said she moved out of state and was already, like, so the states don't talk to each other, right? So she changed her license in Vermont, but Vermont didn't, like, for whatever reason, Michigan didn't flag it, but the election mail couldn't be forwarded. So I was able to cancel her as a voter here.
Right, but if she showed up with a Vermont driver's license, they're not going to let her vote.
They're not going to let her vote. Because you have to, your license has to match what we have in the system.
So is that even true for absentee voters? You have to match their license?
I have to match their signature.
Oh.
So when that ballot comes back, I have to match the signature on the ballot, and the signature in QBF is the signature off your driver's license. So I can tell you that there were quite a few ballots that came back not signed, and I would call the people and say, hey, you didn't sign your ballot, so you can either stop in and sign it, or, like, if they were out of state, I'll send it to you. So if you don't sign it, it doesn't count. And the ones where the signature did not match, I also called. And then they had to come back in and sign it in person. And, like, a couple of them was because it's husband and wife and they swapped ballots. So I have to compare every single signature before it comes out here.
All right. Well, you did a lot of work with it.
Yeah,
I doubt
so
if
the
any
Bureau-
other clerks did that much work with it.
The Bureau told me not to do that I was wasting my time because they weren't going to let anyone to be canceled.
Yeah.
That was done after Randy talked about me online, on the air. I didn't like that.
What was done after that?
That.
Oh,
I spent 3 days
okay.
in front of a computer doing that because he
So
made
that
it,
was to protect your integrity. It wasn't necessary.
because he made it seem like it was just me making this big fuss over anything. And all I did to her when I started it was I asked her a question. And I just said, please, in the future, if you do something like this, maybe a heads up, because you sent out postcards, I sent out ballots. And they went out at the same time. And there are people on that list that got that ballot. And her response to me was she could do what she wanted. I asked for a heads up. Because now I have to call those people and say, oh, hey, by the way, you're going to get a postcard that challenges your address. And I just sent you a ballot. Can you please vote?
Yeah.
And one guy just moved here.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that where I was like, okay, I asked for a heads up.
Yeah, that would have been
Work
the
with
correct
us
thing
here.
to do for sure. Got to work
Or
with each
ask,
other.
if you want to contract with all the townships to send them out, contract with the townships. Don't just do it on your own.
Which I asked the Bureau. I asked the Bureau if the county clerk had any authority to send out those postcards. I had a lot of phone calls with them. And they said, does your township board have a contract with the county to give her that right to do that? And I said, I asked my board, and as far as they going back, the answer is no.
I have no memory.
Then
of
she
it.
has no authority
Mm-mm.
to do it. If this board has not asked her to clean up our QVF files, she has no authority.
Created a lot of headache, a lot of work, a lot of drama for nothing.
I did hear from around other places they were happy we sent them a bill.
Yeah,
Whether or not
I've
another
heard that we
pay-
Another
kinda-
pay's another story, but
It's
yeah.
principle at this
We were-
point.
We,
That's
we took a stand, but we're protecting
Oh,
we're
that was
protecting the
yours.
rights of our voters. Our voters have rights, and we're protecting them.
it is also Randy has also made comments on his radio show that other clerks were thankful for what she's done. I can tell you that I haven't talked to one clerk that is thankful for the extra work. Not one. There's a whole lot of frustration.
But is there some clerks that didn't do any extra work from it? I mean, they just let it go?
And probably if they were new and didn't know any better.
Well, and she only hit. I was the 5th township, so I don't know if any got sent after mine. I was told she had Central Lakes ready to go, but she didn't send out Central Lakes, which I thought would have been enjoying to watch because I really enjoy Judy. So I like.
thanks for working on that.
Yeah.
And taking care of our people.
Yeah, did we submit a bill yet?
We did.
And do we have a payment yet?
No,
Jared's seen it.
I did. I gave it to Margie. When was your before your board meeting? I got it in because I was that fast.
And didn't you say other township clerks called you and said, "What was the motion you
They
guys
did.
made? Because we want to do it too."
They
It's
did.
on video.
Mhm.
Go find it.
No, I sent it to them. I had other clerks call and say, "I liked that. Send that to me."
Alrighty. Any other board comment? Public comment first, but any public comment?
Yeah, Julie, I would just say, don't listen to Randy.
I normally don't.
Don't. He sued me a long time ago, and I just pray that I do the right thing and I don't worry about Randy. That's where I'm at. He sued me in 21 or 22, I forget. But anyways, it was a long time.
I had a reporter call me. I was in the office I was working, and a reporter called and wanted to know if I had any comment on what was being said on the radio. And I said, "I'm sorry, what?"
Yeah.
And she said, it's live right now with Trucker Randy. And I said, "I have no comment, but can you tell me where to go listen to it?"
No.
Right.
That was painful to
Your
listen to.
your discussion about conflict of interest and going to boards, I'm just listening to that. We had a special board meeting at CMH last week, and the chairman of our board came to the meeting. And there are 2 members on that board, myself and a gentleman named Dale, who was just appointed a month and a half ago. And the chairman came to the meeting, and the chairman gave public comment about what was on the agenda, and the chairman appointed me, and the chairman appointed Dale. And I also voted on Dale's confirmation because chairman, supervisor, you make an appointment, the whole board votes on it.
Mhm.
I don't know how you can restrict the free speech of anybody. And I know for a fact that our county administrator knew that our chairman was coming to the meeting and had no issues with it, and our county administrator is the one who talks to our attorney. And I'm the attorney, I'm also a taxpayer here, and you guys spent a lot of money the last year or 2 on attorney.
Yeah.
We at the county, when we did our budget this year, we cut our attorney appropriation line item in half almost. And our administrator wasn't happy about it. And I said, look, I don't see how we win by spending more on attorneys. I just don't see how it benefits the constituents. And it's just, our attorney could come to every meeting.
Mhm.
Our attorney has been to 1 county commissioner meeting in 5.5 years that I've been a commissioner. 1. And that was when we had a lawsuit involved. And I know that people that are involved send emails instead of phone calls because I've been told that's less expensive, and I'm telling you, we have a lot of legal opinions. If you look at our county agenda, 80 pages, and anything that has a legal contract, our attorney looks at. I know it's nice to cover yourself and have the attorney tell you this and that, but I'm telling you, it comes at a pretty significant cost. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Thanks, Jared. Julie?
Julie Waterman, Banks Township. I'm gonna use proper protocol and address the chair so I remain as polite as possible. But earlier, Mark said that what Katie was doing was in secret, and what he was doing was in the open.
I think he's talking about me, but
Well,
anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
that's okay. Katie asked a chair for a document. That is not inappropriate. She didn't come to a meeting, she didn't hand out papers, she didn't give her opinion to the chair, she was simply asking the chair for documents.
Mhm.
So making it sound like that was done in secret as though there was something wrong with what she did, that's normal business that you guys need to do. You need to ask chairs of other committees questions for documents. That's not undue influence, and that's definitely not done improperly. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Tina, wanna round us out? Bat 1,000?
No,
No?
I need to be quiet.
All right. Any more board comments? If not, I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Richard moves, I'll support. Any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
See, I called it at 8:30, it's 8:10. So that's what I gotta do every meeting, is I gotta
Would
set
have
a
been
time.
before 8 o'clock.
This is a big
Next time,
improvement.
7:30.
The length of the meeting.
What's that?
Good job on the meeting length. My wife would be shocked.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go there tonight though.